Hi, I'm Ember Conley, your host for Political Peaks. Today, I'm joined by Blake Moore, a candidate who's running for the Utah's 1st Congressional District, a seat that for the last 16 years has been held by Rob Bishop. Welcome, Blake.
Thanks, Ember.
Excited to learn a little bit about you and your platform and your background. Being an Ogden native, it also looks like you've been a tremendous athlete and then also serving as a foreign service agent. So just tell us a little bit about how all of those experiences will make you the best candidate to represent our district in Congress.
Well, there could be some argument on tremendous. That's a scale on athleticism. So I appreciate you opening it up with that. But that's definitely not what I'm starting with on my campaign. But it's funny that you actually start with that about so many different types of experiences, because that's fundamental to what I'm communicating, what we need in Congress, and why I'm the best candidate to represent the 1st District. And it's reared. It's about having a dynamic, versatile background in order to address all these changes. Right now, more than ever, who we send to Congress matters. This is a very pivotal election. This election matters, and this election is about the future. So my experience in the first part, after graduating college, my experience for the first half of my career was serving our country in the foreign service, where I was working in the intelligence service, both in Washington D.C. and abroad in Asia, and working on foreign policy matters directly related to our relationship with China. Then the last decade, I've been back here with a Utah-based consulting firm, helping businesses grow, organizations from all industries, whether that is a small nonprofit or a Fortune 500 company, solve really complex problems. Plus, I have the policy chops with respect to my master's in public policy and administration, and then the work that I've done actually at Cicero and Dan Jones and Associates has been directly tied to public policy matters. So what I am communicating is, more than ever in Washington, we need dynamic, versatile leadership. Because over the last 3 months, we've seen how quickly things can change. Priorities can change just like that. And right now, outside just a response to our public health, we need an economic recovery, and we need a strong foreign response to establish a working relationship with our allies and adversaries, and specifically with respect to China. And I have this unique mix of experience that prepares me for that.
Of course, we're in the middle of our census for 2020, and looking back on the census for 2010 for the 1st Congressional District, I think we're going to see lots of changes, specifically around diversity, with race, with color, with gender. Even with education. And I'm interested in really some policy changes that you see necessary to be able to address those changes. So pick maybe one policy that you think that is really important to change or to revise to make a difference, to be able to be truly representative.
It's gonna be what I've had a chance to talk to a lot of folks about lately is education. So I'd like to address some things on education, some thoughts there. Core to anything working, we need to have a strong economic recovery, and and part of when I'm asked, what's the plan for economic recovery, for my perspective, there's 2 big things we need to be doing, and it's we need to get safely open. We need to get our economy going again. But key to that is going to be filling the gaps, and that's where education is going to be so important. So I've had the chance to meet recently with Utah State University. I know a lot from Weber State, and talking to folks in this industry. There's a big change that's coming. We need more affordable, nimble education. education that's specifically focused on workforce needs and tying what are the new job market. There's going to be so many changes that takes place, not only just with like what you're saying with the census and how our population has shifted, but our coming back and with the unemployment where it's at right now, there is going to be a real dire need to fill new job skills, even starting now. And universities are thinking about this. High schools are even thinking about this. How do they more directly reskill and upskill students to be able to meet these needs? Employers, companies are going to be focused on doing this type of work. Their whole address and their plan is going to change, and how they've done business up to now. This is a disruption in the market. And like Clayton Christensen always talked about and always taught us, the late Clayton Christensen, professor from Harvard, disruption can be good. And we just need to be able to harness that. And education is going to be the key piece to doing that. I've also done a ton of work just in our K-12 education over the last 5 years, most notably with the Bush Institute out of Dallas, Texas. And their big focus, because they have a whole school leadership initiative, and it's about education reform. One of their big things is making sure that principals are equipped to be able to provide instructional leadership inside the schools, because so many times our principals get bogged down with extra type of work and things that aren't necessarily tied directly to student achievement. And they've created all these frameworks. And what we've done is help them implement this and help them help districts go through the change process, because there is a lot that has to take place during change. It's what my entire professional background this last decade has been in helping organizations go through the change process, because change is not just some political, billboard or statement. Like, there's a real science to it.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be important in our educational institutions to go through that process.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us. What a pleasure it's been to learn about you, about your background, about your expertise and your experience. So thank you for joining us.
Well, I'm appreciative to talk about these issues, and I like to be able to do it in some substantive matter too. It's not always easy. You get a few sound bites and a few bullet points, but thanks for taking the time to hear me out.
You bet. I'm Ember Conley, host for Political Peaks. Remember to watch us live and follow us at Park City TV, both on Facebook and Twitter.